All right, here we are with another episode of the Exiled Prince as we meet our heroes settling into their new life in the Leviathan Coast, a veritable paradise for a Kenshi player, everything you could possibly want mostly, and only a couple of cannibal raids, which we'll be seeing today. This is a shot of our little base, which we've christened the Un-Hive North. Um, to differentiate from Un-Hive West, which is what we ended up calling our first base, which I'm sure will be in great shape when we get back. Um, and we have built our little square wall formation with a little indent in the front to create a corridor for enemies to run in and be shot by our harpoon turrets. Good stuff. You can see the kind of pink-orange outlines of the buildings and machinery that we have not finished building, as well as a giant Leviathan ambling along the front of our base. Here's a nice shot, more towards the ground level from the back of the base, looking out onto the plains. You saw a little bit in the first shot the ocean. We are on the very, very northwestern tip of the giant continent that this game takes place on. And here's a picture of our stuff finished. Because this episode is taking place over a chunk of time as we built our base, you'll see in later screenshots some of the buildings will still be unfinished because they're from halfway through the build. I've compiled it to make the most sense and not necessarily chronologically how I took each screenshot. But here we are. I've got a lot of space that I'm going to ultimately fill with buildings, but we've got a big station house here in the left, and that's going to ultimately be sleeping. I think I turned that into that's like the dining and resting building for everyone. The L-shaped house in the middle will end up being, I think, mostly storage, and then we're gonna end up building a big round outpost that'll be the research lab and crafting area. We've got our big iron refineries and stone mines and stuff over here with our wind turbines, and then we've got a little farm because part of the appeal of this area is that it's excellent for growing crops. So we've already got some vegetables and wheat and I believe cotton growing over there. Here's a close-up. You can see just barely make out. I don't even know if you can. I'll have to figure out how to make a pointer, but a couple of our workers, I think Beep and one other person, are swinging pickaxes down at the bottom left of this big stone mine. So just to show you how large these machines are, these are, the size of a house. And on the left-hand side of the screen is a pile of items that I've dropped on the ground because I haven't built item storage yet. So that's some beak thing eggs and building materials and leathers and stuff that I've just sort of dumped onto the ground while I figure out where to put it. We do leave the doors of our base open more often than we should, which allows river raptors to amble their way into our base and start to eat our crops. They aren't hostile to us, but of course, this is, I think, Jafar defending our green fruit, our vegetables that we use to make food. And this is, I believe we had a shot of them earlier, but this is our treasure hunting squad. Even though our main goal here is to start to attack cannibal settlements, there are a good number of juicy ancient ruins in this surrounding area. And so while we're kind of building up our base a little bit, we're going to send this crew of folks out into the area to kill the robots, plunder the ruins. Same as before, we've got Sakri because he's our best lockpick. And then we have Fiona and the 2 robots and the 3 fighter soldier drones because they're all our big heavy weapons that'll bash the robots really well, as well as Dr. Chung and Green because they're good crossbowmen, and Dr. Chung's our best medic. We've also sent our scrawny old Crumble John along to get beaten up, train his toughness up a little bit. because that's the only way to train your toughness in this game. And of course, we're bringing a couple of pack beasts. If my memory serves, I think we brought Ever Balmy and Ever Laurel. No, Ever Laurel stayed. Oof. Whatever. They all look the same, and they're all named after container ships. I brought 2 of them along the adventure. And ooh, here's a shot. Ooh, baby! I titled this one "Render Distance.jpg" because it really shows off the rendering distance. But we're up on a ruin. This on the right side of the screen, a little crumbled ancient library, and our little crew on the top of this hill. And then they're overlooking, not very prettily, but they're overlooking the Leviathan Coast. Over there in the distance is our base. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen, down in the valley, you can see exactly the line where the foliage render distance cuts off, and it becomes bare landscape instead of the trees and bushes that are found all over this area. We also encounter some nomads who got beat up by who knows what, and here's Dr. Chung bandaging them up for us, saying, well, did a fine job, that's okay. And here's a shot in action of us looting a ruin. This is some kind of sunken outpost. This big rusted building. We're actually about to build one of those buildings in our base, and we're doing our usual strategy of luring them out. This is especially important this time because we can't really fight in this water. So right here in the middle is this iron spider, or security spider, excuse me, that has come out of the lab, and our crossbowmen are shooting it, and if it makes it to the shore, then we'll dogpile it with our hackers and heavy weapons. Here's another shot of, we lured another one out, and it decided to fight this giant Leviathan, so we just sort of sat back and let them fight for a while. And then we also found a trio of beak things prowling in the water, a wolf pack of beak things with their periscopes up, just cruising, looking for prey. And here's another shot, a nice shot of this sunken lab. We've killed all the spiders. We're about to send our boys in and plunder it real good. But a regular occurrence, not too regular, but a regular occurrence out here is cannibal raids, because we are next to, ooh baby, I should have looked up the name of the region. It's not the Cannibal Plains, but it's it's the other region that is densely populated with cannibals. I'm sure I'll put the name on screen because I can't remember it at time of recording, but they come down to raid us from time to time. The very first time they sent us a raid, we hadn't built our walls yet, so I was frantically having Biff, who loves walls, as we all know, try and build our walls as fast as possible so that they would be ready. They were mostly ready. We fought them off. But so from time to time, we have to fend off a big raid of, I don't know what these guys, Charred Skull, I think is the tribe these guys are from. Here they are storming our gate. You can see we were fresh from fighting off some river raptors that are lying dead at the front of the gate. Excuse me. The little green numbers up at the gate are crossbowmen shooting the cannibals down from the walls. The cannibal raids are very... It's almost inevitable that they breach the gates, I've found, because... bashing gates and entryways in Kenshi, you really benefit from having a lot of people. So if the raid were a small amount of very strong people, they would have a really hard time breaking down the gate. But having like 50 cannibals all bashing it with sticks and doing a few damage each, that's gonna get it down in no time. Here's a shot. A lot of our cannibal raids, here's again one of the great things about the Leviathan Coast, is half the time the cannibals wander into a herd of Garu, aggro them, and get their shit kicked in. And we don't have to do anything. We just sit there and watch the cannibals get beaten up by the herd animals of the area. It's fantastic, I've got to say, having just a sort of natural security force to our base. Here they are in the base. I don't know who it is they've picked up, but they are They do have both legs, so that narrows it down. But yeah, so this is a cannibal that is trying to run off with one of our people, though of course he's far from home, surrounded by enemies with crossbows. There's not much he can do here. And as well, on the right-hand side, we've got one of our soldier drones is carrying an unconscious beep over his shoulder, because whenever I'm fighting cannibals and someone goes unconscious, I have someone pick them up as quickly as possible so that the cannibals can't run off with them. Again, not too much of a concern when we're in our own base, but it's still nice. Here's a nice gruesome shot of the aftermath of one of our defenses. There's bloodied beasts and cannibals strewn across the entryway of our base. On the left, you can see the cross-hatched outline of the wall that we need to rebuild after some cannibals knocked it down. But, you know, repeated and successful defenses on our parts. And then to end it out, here's just a nice shot of the Leviathan Coast. Beautiful purple grounds, roaming leviathans. If we were trying to be really spicy and make lots of money, which we absolutely don't need to do because we have more money than we know what to do with and nowhere to spend it at the moment. But if we wanted to, we could hunt leviathans by luring them towards our base and peppering them full of harpoons from our mounted harpoon turrets. But we don't feel inclined to do that because we have other things to do, and we don't have an abundance of copper to build the harpoon turrets with, so we'll leave that for another time as we prepare in our coming episodes to launch our campaign against the cannibals and reclaim the lands for the villagers who had been kicked out. So, as always, thank you for sticking around if you have, and I will catch you next time.